Hello and welcome to Wingin It. So you might have seen already, but Wingspan is now on Board Game Arena. So for those of you who don't know, Wingspan obviously originally was a physical board game published by Stonemaier Games back in 2019, then was released on digital by Monster Couch back in 2020, and that was followed up by the release of the European expansion, also on digital, earlier this year in 2022. There have also been a couple of other digital implementations, so both Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator have got their own versions at one point or another, both officially and unofficially. But now here we go, we've got Wingspan available in the beta phase on Board Game Arena. So this is previously in alpha, I did a little bit of testing for that, and yeah, it's now moved on to the beta phase, so open, a lot more available to the public. So yeah, if you have a Board Game Arena account, you can log on and play some Wingspan. So it is a premium game on Board Game Arena. So the way Board Game Arena works is anyone can have a free account, but there are also premium memberships available for a monthly or annual fee. And most games are available for free, so anyone can open up a table, start a game for any of their games. But you'll see there are a number of premium games, so Wingspan is included in this. And what that just means is that only premium members can create tables and can create games for that. But anyone can join, so you don't have to be a premium member to play. You can just kind of hang around on this screen, and yeah, you'll see sort of tables periodically pop up where other premium members have made those. And yeah, even if you're not a premium member, you can join those tables and play along. So obviously this is very different to how the other digital implementations have been done. So for the Monster Couch version, that is available on a number of different devices, including PC and Mac, iOS, Android, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, basically any device that plays games pretty much and connects to the internet, you can probably get Wingspan on it. Whereas services like Tabletopia, that also works on a subscription basis, so you have to pay a monthly fee to be the right level of membership to be able to play Wingspan. And I think originally there was a Tabletop Simulator mod, which was paid for as well, and obviously you have to pay for Tabletop Simulator itself. So yeah, a number of different kind of options and a number of different ways to play Wingspan, but this, I think, to my knowledge, is the first way officially to be able to play it for free on digital. And of course, it's in a web browser, so you can play it basically on any sort of internet connected device, so any PC or Mac or anything. You can play it on your phone, you can play it on your iPad, anything that can go on a web browser, you can play it on Board Game Arena. So I was quite excited to hear this. I wanted to check it out and yeah, sort of see how it compares and stacks up to some of the other digital implementations. So yeah, we'll just kind of take a look at the main screen. So you'll kind of see all the kind of standard information. You've got the rule pages, so obviously people who aren't familiar can read up on the rules. You can check sort of like a learning tutorial mode as well. A couple of forum posts already starting to come up, and yeah, sort of a number of other items that kind of seem pretty standard. I think if you're familiar with how Board Game Arena works, this will all look, yeah, very, very familiar to you. And yeah, you can see available since 9th of September, so that was when the beta was officially released. And yeah, at time of recording, that's only 4 days ago, so still pretty recent. And yeah, will be interesting to see how that develops. But yeah, obviously Board Game Arena as well has quite an active competitive scene across a number of other games. So obviously being from the Wingspan Tournaments Discord server, I've got quite an interest in that. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how that develops and what sort of Board Game Arena tournaments might come out of that, and yeah, how that sort of impacts us as well. But that's getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. Obviously, this is still just in beta, and it is base game only, so no European expansion yet, although I'm sure they will be working on that to come. But yeah, I just thought I'd sort of dive in and yeah, give my first impressions and kind of a first little overview for anyone who hasn't seen this yet. So we'll jump into a game here. We'll kind of just take a little quick look at the overview of how the user interface looks and everything like that. So obviously very familiar if you play Wingspan. This is broadly how you might set it up in person with the real life board and everything. So all the components look pretty similar there. Obviously just kind of with that top down view of what the table is going to be like. So yeah, kind of in that sense, quite similar to the board view for the Monster Couch implementation, and also quite similar to the top-down view that you might have on Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator. Now, this is kind of more similar to the Monster Couch version in that it is all scripted. The rules are sort of pre-programmed in. The game knows what you can and can't do, and it will sort of direct you as well. So you see at the top, there's this kind of marker that tells you when it's your turn, and it directs you what you have to do at your turn. So you'll see we're at the start phase here, so you have to choose up to 5 cards to keep, and then once you've done that, it will then direct you to choose the right food and bonus card as well. So yeah, the game knows what you can and can't do, and that is definitely different to my experiences on Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia. So yeah, for people who don't know, those are basically just sandbox games where you have the necessary components that are given to you to play the game, but the game itself doesn't know how to be played. So if you have to know the rules, you have to be aware of following the right rules, keeping the right resources, paying the right food costs, that kind of thing. So yeah, in theory, you could sort of house rule things yourself, or take certain birds out, or sort of adjust things how you might see fit. But obviously here, this is going to follow the rules as written in the rule book, which can have its pros and cons, but maybe I'll come on to that another time. But yeah, you'll kind of see, again, how it looks. Obviously, we've got the board, we've got the bird tray, the bird feeder. If I scroll down, you can see you've got your hand available here, and obviously your food tokens to start as well. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see this is where your opponent's board will be. So yeah, once obviously the game starts developing, you'll start to see their birds and eggs and cash food and everything will start to stack up here. And yeah, that will give you a good overview of your opponent. Obviously, if you have more opponents, they will show up below as well. And yeah, you can sort of just scroll down and see all your opponents there in one place, which I think is quite nice. I think that's quite a good way to implement it. Just a quick scroll away, and you can see everything as well. At the top right as well, this is kind of like the summary, the overview of each player. So again, if there are more players, they'll get added here. And what this is going to show you is, first of all, running total of the points. So obviously at the start of the game here, no points, but that will automatically count up for you throughout the game, which yeah, is quite handy. Again, this is something that is in the digital implementation by Monster Couch, but something that isn't is being able to see your opponent's score. So again, this is going to go through all of their bird cards, all of the tuck cards, cash food, eggs, and end of round goals. It is going to exclude bonus cards, of course, though. I think that might be a bit of an advantage if it told you how many points your opponent was scoring from bonus cards, but that's quite a nice touch, just to be able to see that. But yeah, it does also obviously give you an overview for both you and your opponent, what kind of food you've got, how many of each, how many bird cards you have, which again is something that you don't get in the Monster Couch version. So that is nice to see. Obviously, number of bonus cards, and also number of turns left, and then crucially, who started that round. And yeah, again, we've got the bird cards as well, and the bonus cards, so you can see how many cards are left in the deck. Again, not something that we have on Monster Couch's digital version, so that's quite nice to see. But yeah, this is kind of the overview you get, and you've got your hand here. So there are a number of different ways you can have your hand visible. You can have it sort of fixed here below the board. You can sort of pin it up to the top of the board if you like to have it there, sort of next to the other bird cards. Or the other option is you can have it sort of docked in sort of like a floating window. So no matter where you scroll down, it's always going to be there. It's sort of, you see kind of like translucent layer over the top of the board. So I quite like it this way. It sort of is always there when you're scrolling. But it is nice to know you can sort of like tuck it out of the way like this if you're sort of making key decisions like that. But yeah, I thought what I'll do here is just kind of play at least a few turns. I probably won't go through the whole game, but just kind of show you, yeah, how the game is going to play out and how it sort of sets up. So you'll probably think I've scripted this because I've got bunting in the hand. I genuinely promise you this was the first game I started, so maybe it's just the Wingspan gods are shining down on me here. But yeah, we'll just kind of, I'm not going to overthink this too much. Like I said, this isn't really a full-on serious game. But yeah, you see, for example, if I'm going to keep these 2 birds in my starting hand, I can confirm this. I'm going to keep 2, and then it's going to tell me I have to discard 2 of the food here. So this is something that confused me a little bit at first, because on the Monster Couch version, obviously you pick the cards you want to keep and then you pick the food you want to keep as well. Whereas here you're kind of doing the opposite. You're picking which food you don't want. So in this case, I think I probably don't want. Do you know what? We'll keep the fish because my plan is to grab the fish crow. So we'll want to discard these 2, and yeah, you choose that you selected those, and then that's going to take you next onto your bonus card. So another thing you might notice here, we do have bonus cards such as the Anatomist. Now there is a setting for this. When you're creating the table, you can choose whether to include these or remove them. Obviously they are removed in online games by default on the Monster Couch version, which again, I think that is a bit of a shame. You know, we are missing out on parts of the game. I think if all players are playing in the same language, you should be able to have the option to include that. But yeah, just for sort of argument's sake, I will keep that. And then you get this confirm button. Yep, I'm happy with that. And you're done with that. So that's how you sort of select your cards and your bonus cards and everything. And yeah, once all players have done that, you will move on onto your first turn. And so you'll see now my opponent has chosen their starting hand and food. So you can kind of see it again over here, like I was saying. You can see which food they kept. They've obviously got 2 cards as well. And they have still got their 8 action cubes left. So yeah, you'll see now it's on my turn. I've got these 4 options at the top. So essentially I can just click here to pick which one of those options I want to do. But equally, I can just click on the habitat here. So you know, for example, on this first turn, if my plan is to draw bird cards, I'm going to click on this icon here. And then again, it will come up with this option here. Do I want to draw from the deck or do I want a face-up card? So if I want to draw from the deck, I can also just click here. That gives me that option. But if I want one of the cards in the tray, so as I said here, I do like that fish crow, I can click on that. You see it's going to put my cube down here. It's going to pick up the fish crow and it's going to add it down here into my hand. So I will just put that on the little floating overview. So you see now this option has come up at the top. Confirm or undo. I'm happy with all that. I'll click confirm, and yeah, you see this card is going to get replaced, and it's going to go to my opponent's turn. Now, another thing you might see here is that we have a turn log on the right-hand side. So everything that's happened during this game, including which cards I discard at the start, even which cards my opponent choose to discard from their starting hand, and then obviously here you see that the fish crow that I drew, that is all stored in a text log here. So anytime you can think, oh, do you know what bird was it that they picked up at the final turn of that last round? You can just scroll down and you can see it, and it's going to be visible there for you. So that I think is really handy. That can definitely come into play in competitive games, because I can't tell you how many times my opponent takes something from the tray and I was not paying attention and I have no idea what they just taken. So yeah, being able to scroll back there and kind of see what was taken or maybe what action they took, that's really, really handy indeed. So here we go back over to my turn again, and you'll see here my opponent, they played the Anna's Hummingbird, and it tells you what food they use as well. So here we go, if I scroll down, there we go, we can see they've got a cube up here on player bird, and yeah, the hummingbird here. And as you see here as well, at any time you can hover over a bird and it's going to tell you everything about that bird. So it's going to explain fully what all of the icons mean, which I think is really good for newer players. So, you know, that's really straightforward, a really good explanation of what do the different habitats mean, the food cost, the power, everything like that. At any time you can just sort of hover over that and yeah, get that sort of quick overview. But yeah, like I said, we can kind of go back over to my board, and yeah, do you know what? I'm kind of thinking to myself, I want to be getting this bunting and this fish crow down pretty quickly. So what food have I got? Well, seed is the missing one if I want to get this bunting down. I'll go for some food, and yeah, you'll kind of see here the options that you get at the top. It tells you I've got to choose one from the bird feeder. So I'll just click on the one I want. I'll confirm that, and we're done. So that's my turn done, and there we go, the cube up here on gain of future. I've done that. So really pretty straightforward there, I think. And yeah, certainly it feels very intuitive, kind of the way you play this. So back over to my turn again, and yeah, do you know what? It's time to play this bunting. So like I said, you've got these kind of options up here. I can click if I want to play a bird, and I can choose a bird from my hand here, or I can just click on the bird, and then it's going to give me the 2 options. So obviously, bunting, it can go in the forest, but I want to be playing it in this grasslands where it belongs. So I'll just click on this grasslands. I'm then going to go up here, I'll pick the 3 food to pay for it, confirm the cost, and there we go. It's going to put my cube up here, and it's going to show that the bunting is going down there. So pretty straightforward, and yeah, there we go. That's how you play a bird. So back to me now, and now I've got this bunting down. I want to be starting to lay some eggs. So you see again, I can just click here. So as I did here when I was getting food or when I was getting birds, I click here. But I'll click up here this time. So you can click on lay eggs on birds, choose which bird to lay. I've got 2 to lay, so I'll click twice on the bunting. Now this is one thing I don't like. It kind of assumes that you want to discard. I feel like it should just sort of give you the option, and if you don't click anything, it just assumes that you're not going to discard. But yeah, I don't want to discard food for the extra egg. I'm quite happy to keep this fish at this point. And yeah, the cube you'll see there moves along, and it's now time to activate the bunting power. So I can claim this cherry, and again, this is quite handy if you're not familiar with the bird powers, because it's going to show you, it's going to highlight, I can't take these 2. It even comes up with that little do not click icon, and isn't going to let me click on those. But this little cherry, I'm allowed to take that with the bunting. So I'm going to click that. You see it's going to go up here into my supply. I click confirm, and again, I'm all done for my turn. So you see it's come back to me this time, but not fully on my turn. So what's happened is my opponent, they went to lay eggs, and you can kind of see this because the cube is here on the hummingbird. But equally again, over in the log on this right side, you can see that they have taken food from the bird feeder through there and as hummingbird. So it's now come to me, and I can either choose to take this fish, but do you know what? I don't really want that fish because I'd quite like to get a re-roll. Maybe I can get some food to get this kingbird down. So I'm going to choose to re-roll. So you do that, you click the re-roll. It's going to re-roll the dice for you with a lovely animation. And ooh, not the re-roll I wanted. Sadly, no food for that Eastern kingbird. So I think I'll take the rodent. I might have my eye on something in this tray. And yeah, there we go. I can take that, click on confirm. And there we go. It's going to then come back around to my turn. And yeah, I think now the way I'm going to play this, with this cherry that I got previously, I'll probably use that to play the kingbirds. And yeah, that's going to go the wetlands here. So you see again, I can click on the kingbird itself, or I can maybe cancel that and go, do you know what, I'll play a bird up this way. I'll click the kingbird, and again, I get the choice of the 3 habitats. I want to go down here, and as I said, I want to play with the cherry. And again, you can see here, I don't have worms or seeds, so I can't play with those, but it does give me the choice of the foods that I do have. I'll play with the cherry, confirm the food cost, and there we go. Eastern kingbird is going down. So back round to my turn, and yeah, you'll see my opponent, they chose to draw some cards. They discarded an egg to get an extra one, and I can see here they now have 4 cards in their hand. So yeah, quite handy to see that. That can sometimes, impact on your decisions of maybe activating a certain power, or yeah, if you've got something like Wolves and Snipe, maybe you want to give a card away or you don't. That's always kind of useful to understand. But yeah, how many turns do I have left in this round? Oh, there we go. I've got 3 turns left. So yeah, I'm thinking definitely would be good to get this fish crow down. But equally, I want to draw some cards. So I'll probably do that first. Like I say, I think the stork and I think even that falcon in the tray do look like quite a good option. So I'm going to draw some cards, and I definitely want these 2 in the tray. So I'll take the falcon first. It's going to pick that up, put it down into my hand like that. And then here we go. It's going to give me this option of discarding, which I'm going to do. So I'll click on the bunting to choose that egg. And yeah, again, can I choose from the deck? Yes, I can, but I wanted to choose as Woodstock, so I'll do that. Again, that's going to go down into my hand. The kingbird isn't going to activate because it's a pink power. And yeah, there we go. I can confirm that's what I want to do with my turn. And we'll see once I've done that, the tray is then going to go reset, and it goes over to my opponent's turn. And so back around to me, like I said, plan definitely is to get this fish crow down. So we will play that here in the grasslands, and I'll use my fish and my rodent, confirm the food cost. It's going to take the egg from the bunting. If you do have eggs in multiple places, it will give you that choice of where you want to discard off. Obviously, I did only have that 1 egg. And there we go, the bird's down. I've got that extra cube up there, and it's back over to my opponent. So last turn of the round here, and yeah, now we've got this grassland set up with this double food source. I think it's time to take advantage of that. So we're going to click here, we're going to lay some eggs. We can put them wherever we want, so let's just put 1 on each for good measure. It's going to move our cube over onto the fish crow, discard 1 to gain a food. So yeah, I would quite like to get either of these down, so definitely I'll be going for the rodent here. We'll take that. The cube is then going to go over to the bunting here, and yeah, can't take either of those, but I can do the reroll, so we'll do that. Hopefully get some good food, lovely stuff. I'll take this now. You see here, this is one of those worm/seed, you get a choice. Obviously here, because it's the bunting, I can only take it as a worm, and it sort of is going to default that to me here and put the worm up there. So I'll confirm that, confirm my selection, and yeah, confirm the end of my turn. So you see my opponent here, they are taking their last turn. They played this grasshopper sparrow, and it is end of round time. So we both failed completely in that, so we don't get any points. You see the cubes have gone down here. The game automatically is going to refresh this tray. It's going to give you all your cubes back, and it's going to show the other player as going first this time. So again, like I said, you can kind of scroll down at any time, see what they've got set up, and equally go back through on this turn log and kind of see, you know, what else. What did I miss? At what time did the falcon get picked up? That sort of thing. So that is quite handy indeed. But yeah, there we go. That's the first round. And hopefully that's given kind of a good flavour of sort of my first impressions, at least, what I think is good about this. And certainly, yeah, if it's going to allow more people to play Wingspan, I'm all for it. But I might do a sort of more in-depth thing. Certainly, like I say, there's things I like about this compared to the Monster Couch version. But there's also definitely a few things I don't like. So yeah, if you'd be interested in seeing that, definitely let me know in the comments. Give a like on this video as well, so I know that you're interested in this kind of content. And yeah, subscribe to this channel so that you can stay up to date as well with more videos like this and other gameplay and strategy stuff. But for now, I'll leave it there. And yeah, hopefully see you again in another video very soon.